Thank you very much for inviting me. And the very fact that I'm standing in front of you and talk to you about homegrown solutions and building peace from the bottom is a contradiction in itself. Because obviously I'm not South Sudanese, I'm not Sudanese, but I'm somebody from Germany, so please bear with me. I'm representing, in fact, two networks. One is the Sudan Ecumenical Forum, which was founded here in this town of Geneva in the early 90s under the umbrella of the World Council of Churches, and had many members from around the world, like Bread for the World in Germany and Caritas Internationalis, but the center were the Sudanese, South Sudanese churches. And the second one is what was just mentioned, Sudan, South Sudan Forum, which is a German-based group where we also founded in the early 90s, where Muslims, Christians, Sudanese, non-Sudanese have been working together to advocate peace. And I would like to talk to you a bit about also the role of outsiders. What I found is we as outsiders, if we do our work to build our names or our careers, we better should stay away. We should not believe that peace work is not also a business. We heard it before. So we have to be where the people are. We have to listen to what the people, the owners, tell us. That, to me, is the key. And we need to have a long breath. It seems this session is the session of principles, so I also would like to share 3 principles with you, which I found extremely important for my work. The first one is what my professor, when I studied intercultural education, told us in the very first hour when he met us. And he said, guys, never forget, if you enter the house of a stranger, open your ears and your eyes widely, but keep your mouth shut. And that is extremely difficult for me as a German, as you can imagine, and I think for many of us. We always know the solutions. We always know what is better. But we have to listen, and listening is the key. And so this brings me to the second, which is a proverb. Of course, I have been working in Africa for a long time, so we like proverbs there. And the second one is, if you want to know the truth about cats, listen to the mice. And the third one, which I found was an extremely important guiding principle for my work, is in fact the first sentence in our German constitution. And I think you all know about the history of Germany. You know when this constitution was brought to Germany. That was in 1949, after the most terrible things one can think of had been brought by Germans to the whole world. And Germans had committed the most terrible atrocities one can think of. And this led to the first sentence, which of course is also essential for the United Nations. And the first sentence in our constitution is, the dignity of every human being is untouchable. And to me, this is so important, together with the fact that what happened in Germany by then should never happen anywhere again, ever in the whole world, that it was kind of my driving motive. And the dignity to me also means to respect the dignity, not to touch the dignity, also means not to see the victims as anonymous masses, refugees, millions. What do they mean for us? Each and every body of them is an individual with the same hope, we heard it before, as we have, with a brother, with a sister, with a mother, with a father. And with losing their home, they don't lose their brains. They don't lose their views, their voices. But very often it's the case. So others know better what is good for them. And that is actually what it's all about, what we have been trying to do in our networks. Of course, for a long time we were looking at the big guys, and we were happy when we could play with the big guys. We were sitting at the same table. But that did not count. What counts is the people on the ground. And this is where you have to listen. And listening needs time. Sorry, guys, but listening needs time. And the time concept in Africa, in most of Africa, and especially in Sudan, is different from ours. So it really needs a long time. And what we try to do is to help building peace from below, people-to-people peace process. Some of you might have heard about it. And this we means it was the Sudanese, South Sudanese themselves. We from outside would just facilitate. We would try to make it known, to help to raise some money. But the real work was done within. And in addition, what we did was, in Germany, for instance, until today we have what we call the Sudan South Sudan conference, which is a kind of protocol-free zone. Yes, people, as we heard in the beginning, need to meet where they are, like in Syria, in Sudan, but sometimes they cannot. And somebody from a refugee camp cannot talk to an ambassador, or he cannot talk to his own minister. And this is what we try to provide in Germany, at least for 3 days every year. We bring people from Sudan, South Sudan, Muslims, Christians, non-believers, what have you, rebel leaders, civil society, and let them meet there, let them talk in a protected room, where everything is allowed, only not to insult, personal insults, and let them talk to each other. Let them hear from the other. Let them build friendships. Unfortunately, it's getting increasingly difficult, because to bring young people is difficult because of the visa question. Many think they want to stay with us. In 30 years, not a single one wanted to stay in beautiful Germany, but they all went back and contributed to peace work. So peace work is a very long-term work. You might say, but you are still there. It's still war in Sudan, in South Sudan, after all these years. So was everything in vain? We hear there's hell on earth in South Sudan these days, and in Sudan, by the way, in many places. That is true. But the number of people from inside who want to have it different has grown tremendously. So the efforts of young people, of old people, to make a change, to be soon in a better future, has grown tremendously, and we are just there to help. So somebody, when I interviewed them in 2005, how they looked at the peace by then, told me, look, I think it will take another 100 years before we see peace and stability. But, he said, and that to me is the other thing which I strongly believe in, he said, with everything we do today, we lay the foundation that one day it will happen. So let me conclude. I already saw the sign. With a blessing, I'm working with the churches, so I would like to close with a blessing, which I just heard in Oslo last week, and so I have to read it out. And the blessing says, "May God bless you all with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in this world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done." Thank you.